Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 6. Hopefully we're going to be doing it daily, because that would be nice. And just to keep you guys updated, each podcast episode will either come out daily or something like that. And what was I gonna say? And these podcast episodes will come up between 12 p.m. through 9 p.m. So you get a 9-hour thing there of when my podcast episodes are gonna come out. So let's get back into chapter 2, Dose, of the wonderful Welcome to Night Vale novel by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Craner, based off of the #1 international hit podcast, probably by the same people. I've only listened to a few of the podcast episodes on it. We're gonna get into it today with the next chapter. I feel like this camera is a bit off, delayed. Okay, maybe not. I don't know, I was just testing something. Alright, chapter 2. Let me get a sip first. That was pretty sweet. That's a good one. Thank you, Monster Energy, for being a good drink. I know the camera's not the greatest, but I just remodeled my room and I'm figuring it out, so shut up. There's this house. It's not unlike many other houses. Imagine what a house looks like. It is also quite unlike many other houses. Imagine this house again. Given that it is simultaneously not unlike that's weird. Given that it is simultaneously not unlike and unlike other houses, it is exactly like all houses. One way it is not unlike other houses is its shape. It has a house-like shape. That's definitely a house, people might say, if shown a picture of it. One way it is unlike other houses is also its shape. It has a subtly unnatural shape. That's definitely a house, but there's something else, something beautiful inside the house, people might say, if shown a picture of it. I don't know if beautiful is the right word. It's more like it's actually upsetting me now. Please stop showing me that picture. Please, those same people might beg a few moments later. It is a terrible, terrible beauty that I do not understand. Please stop. I'm sorry that I keep pausing. My brain isn't calibrating correctly. Let me get a hat. I'll be right back. I don't like my hair right now, so I finna go get a hat, and you can't do anything to stop me. Alright, I'll be right back. Johnny. Dude, this is so weird. Alright. This blanket is nice. You'll see it in the video if you are this is the only way you can see or hear the podcast is on YubTubs, so I don't even know what I'm saying. I was gonna say, blah blah blah, Alright, back to it. Okay, the person showing the people that picture might reply, because that person might be good and caring. It's hard to say who is good and caring when you know nothing about a person except that they show other people pictures of houses, but there's no sense in going through life presuming awful things about people you do not know. That is so true. It would be safe to assume that the house is an enclosed structure owned and built by people. It would be weird to assume that the house had a personality, a soul. Why would anyone assume that? It is true. It does. but that was weird to assume that. Never assume that kind of thing. Another way it is unlike other houses is its thoughts. Most houses do not think. This house has thoughts. Those thoughts are not visible in a picture nor in person, but they find their way into the world, through dreams mostly. While a person sleeps, the house might suddenly have a thought. What the heck is that word? I think that's just top. Top is not an emotional catalyst. It's practical and bland. No one cries at any shade of top. Is it top? I don't know. And to my friends who know me, you guys know that I read substantially fast. I'm doing this so you can hear me. That's what a podcast is. Alright, that's what an audiobook is. You have to listen to it. I'm not gonna go, these are the thoughts that are showing in the shower, grumpy thoughts, and like, who are you? Alright? Shut up. Where was I? Where are you? Or another thought like, oh my god, time. What is time even? And the sleeping person might experience that thought too. No one cries at any shade of top. Or another thought like, oh my god, time. What is time even? And the sleeping person might experience that thought too. Alright. Basically what it's saying is it's listing things that the house might be thinking, and the person sleeping might experience those thoughts too. Got it? Alright. These thoughts may also be shared in the shower. Grumpy thoughts, angry thoughts that should be unthought before interacting with the public. Thoughts like low guttural growl or knuckles crack, fist clench, teeth tighten, eyes stop letting in any new information, and water runs down a rigid face. The thoughts are everywhere. Sometimes they are quite literal and utilitarian. There's a rodent chewing on some drywall behind the headboard could be one such thought. Another way is not unlike other houses is that it houses people. It houses a woman, for instance. Imagine a woman. Good work. It also houses a boy, not quite a man. He's 15, you know how it is. Imagine a 15-year-old boy. Nope. That was not right at all. Try again. No. Okay, stop. He's tall, he's skinny with short hair and long teeth that he deliberately hides when he smiles. He smiles more than he thinks he does. Imagine a 15-year-old boy. No. Again. No, not close. He has fingers that move like they have no bones. He has eyes that move like he has no patience. He has a tongue that changes shape every day. He has a face that changes shape every day. He has a skeletal structure and coloring and hair that change every day. He seems different than you remember. He is always unlike he was before. Imagine. Good. That's actually pretty good. Good job. His name is Josh Creighton. Her name is Diane Creighton. She is Josh's mother. She sees herself in Josh. Josh looks like a lot of things. He changes his physical form constantly. In this way, he is unlike most boys his age. He thinks he is several things at once, many of them contradictory. I don't care which way I say it, alright? I say route or root. Which one do you say? Do you say route or root? Let me take another sip. That's still just as good as before. Round 96, okay. I have Bloons TD6 playing again because Bloons TD6 is one of my favorite games. I wish they had it on the PS4, but they don't, and plus that would be probably kind of boring. Anyways, that was really off topic. In this way, he is like most boys his age. Sometimes Josh takes the form of a curve-billed thrasher or kangaroo or Victorian-era wardrobe. Sometimes he amalgamates his looks. fish head with ivory tusks and monarch wings. You've changed so much since I last saw you, people often say to him. People say that to all teenagers, but they mean it more with Josh. You've changed so much since the last time I saw you, people often say to him. I just read the same line. Alright. Josh doesn't remember how he looked the last time each person saw him. Like most teenagers, he always was what he happens to be in that moment until he never was that. There was a girl Josh liked who only liked Josh when he was bipedal. Josh does not like always being bipedal and found this news disappointing. There is a boy Josh liked who liked Josh when he was a cute animal. Josh always likes being a cute animal, but Josh's subjective sense of the word cute was different than the boy's. This was another disappointment for Josh, and also for the boy who did not find giant centipedes cute at all. Neither do I. Diane loved Josh for all the things he appeared to be. She herself did not change forms, only showing the gradual differences that came with gradual changes of age. Josh sometimes tried to fool Diane by taking the form of an alligator, or a cloud of bats, or a house fire. That's not cool, man. Diane knew to be on guard at first just in case there really was a house on fire, but once she understood the situation, she was calm and she loved him for who he was and how he looked, no matter what he looked like. She was, after all, the mother of a teenager. My face, dude. Oh, why is my game wasn't going? Mommy! Alright. Please stop shrieking and storming into the cupboards, she would say. It is important to set boundaries. Josh sometimes appears human. When he does, he is often short, chubby-cheeked, pudgy, wearing glasses. Where are my glasses? Right here, perfect. I have an idea. I said I have an idea as idea. Alright, let's put these bad boys on. Perfect, dude. This is exactly what a podcaster should look like on video. Okay. Okay, sorry. Is that how you see yourself, Josh? Diane once asked. Sometimes, Josh replied. Do you like the way you look? Diane once followed up. Sometimes, Josh replied. Diane did not press Josh further. She felt his terse answers were a sign he did not want to talk much. I'm looking at you, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. Josh wished his mother talked to him more. His short answers were a sign he didn't know how to socialize well. What? Josh asked on Tuesday evening. He had smooth violet skin, a pointed chin, angular, thin shoulders. The television was not on, a textbook was open but not being read. A phone was lit up, a sharp thumb tapping across its keyboard. Come talk, Diane said from the cracked door. She did not want to open it all the way. It was not her room. She was trying very hard. She had sold a tear to Jackie that day. Ooh. It had felt good to have someone explicitly value something that she did. Also, expenses had been higher than usual that month, and she had needed the money. She was, after all, a single parent. Yeah, that's not very fun. About what? Anything. About what? Anything. I'm studying. Are you studying? I don't want to bother you if you are studying. Ping, the phone added. If you're studying, then I'll go, she said, pretending she did not hear the phone. What? Josh asked on some other evening. It is a Tuesday, or it was not a Tuesday. His skin was a pale orange, or was a deep navy, or there were thick bristles that plumbed from just below his eyes. Weird, dude. These glasses are really messing up my vibes. That was fun. Just for that time. That was fun. Alright, let's see. Or his eyes were not visible at all because of the shade of his ram-like horns. This was most evenings. This was a incremental repetition of parenting. Ow. The television was not on, the textbook was open but not being read. The phone was lit up. "How are you doing?" Diane sometimes said. Sometimes she said, "What's going on?" Sometimes she said, "Just checking on you." "Josh," Diane sometimes said, standing at his door in the evening. Sometimes she knocked. "Josh," she sometimes repeated, following a certain amount of silence. "Josh," she sometimes did not repeat, following a second amount of silence. ... Josh sometimes replied, "Really? That's weird." Not out loud, but in a comic book speech bubble. He pictured other things he could say, but did not know how. "For the most part, I do not like taffeta," the house thought, and Diane shared that thought. "Josh," Diane said, sitting in the passenger seat of her burgundy Ford hatchback. "What?" said the wolf spider in the driver's seat. "If you're going to learn to drive, you're going to need to be able to reach the pedals." The wolf spider elongated, and two of his middle legs extended to the floor of the vehicle, gently touching the pedals. "Ew! And see the road too, Josh." A human head with the face and hair of a 15-year-old boy emerged from the body of the spider, and the abdomen filled out into something of a primate-like torso. The legs remained spindly and long. He thought he looked cool driving a car as a wolf spider. He did look cool, although it was difficult to control the car. It was important to him that he looked cool while driving, although he would not have been able to articulate why. Diane stared him down. Josh took a fully human shape, save for a few feathers on his back and shoulders. Diane saw them poking out from underneath his shirt sleeves and decided that not all battles are worth fighting. Human form when driving the car. Diane saw herself in Josh. She had been a teenager once. She understood emotions. She empathized. She did not know with what, but she empathized. I'm probably going to do 2 chapters, so this is probably going to be like a 40-minute long podcast. Okay. If so. What time is it, man? 1:05. Is that right? Yeah, it's 1:03. Whatever. My song just came out too. While recording this, my song is just come out. It's still premiering right now. It's not over. I still got a minute left of footage because it's a 4-minute song. Anyways, Josh huffed, but Diane reminded him that if he wanted to drive her car, he would play by her rules, which involved not being a 3-inch long wolf spider. Fact on God. Diane reminded him of his bike and how that was a perfectly reasonable form of transportation. Diane's task of teaching her son to drive took additional patience, not just because of Josh's insistence and constant reassessment of his physical identity, but also because the car was a manual transmission, which I still really want to learn. But I want to learn it on a specific car. I want to learn it on, a Dodge Challenger. I don't even know if they have, maybe an old one. That would be amazing to learn stick on an old Dodge Challenger. I would literally wet myself. I mean, what? Imagine teaching a 15-year-old how to drive a car with manual transmission. First, you have to press down the clutch. Then you have to whisper a secret into one of the cup holders. In Diane's case, this was easy, as she was not a very social or public person, and most any mundane thing in her life could be a secret. In Josh's case, this was hard because for teenagers, most every mundane thing in their lives is a secret that they do not like sharing in front of their parents. My leg is covering up the light. Whatever, man. That was comfortable, kind of. Then, after the clutch and the secret, the driver has to grab the stick shift, which is a splintered wood stick wedged into the dashboard, and shake it until something happens, anything really, and then simultaneously type a series of code numbers into a keyboard on the steering wheel. All this while sunglasses wearing agents from a vague yet menacing government agency sit in a heavily tinted black sedan across the street taking pictures and occasionally waving. This is a lot of pressure on a first-time driver. This blanket is falling off, man. It's cold. Even though it's early fall, it's cold. Oh, well, that makes sense. I don't know what I'm talking about. It would have made more sense if I said hot, but it's not hot. Josh often got frustrated with his mother. This is because Diane was not the best teacher. This is also because Josh was not the best student. Excuse me. There were other reasons as well. Josh, you need to listen to me, Diane would say. I get it, okay? Josh would say, not getting it at all. I'm dying, what is happening? Diane enjoyed arguing with... That's weird, dude, my music just stopped. Because I anticipated it being 20 minutes, and this chapter isn't even over. Crap, because I'm how many more pages? One. What was it? Josh would say, not getting it at all. Diane enjoyed arguing with Josh about driving because it was time spent talking, having a relationship. It was not easy being a mother to a teenager. Josh enjoyed this time too, but not consciously. On the surface, he was miserable. He just wanted to drive a car, not do all of the things it takes to be able to drive a car, like having a car and learning to drive it. And sometimes he would say, why can't my dad come teach me? Because he knew that question hurt her. Then he would feel bad about hurting her. Diane would feel bad too. They would sit in the car, feeling bad. You're doing a good job, Diane once said to Josh, in relation to nothing, only trying to fill the silence. So every other time I'm not doing a good job, Josh thought, because he didn't understand the context of her statement. Thanks, Josh said out loud, trying to fill the silence with graciousness. You still need to work on a lot of things, Diane did not say. I'm sorry your father isn't here. She also did not say. But I'm trying so hard. I am, Josh. I am, she did not say. As far as things go, her self-control was pretty good. I'm really not good at driving, Josh often thought, even as he veered too close to highway barriers, rolled wheels up on curbs, and failed to yield to hood figures, resulting in mandatory citywide ennui for hours. Oh, that's not very good. Nightville's traffic laws are Byzantine and kept on a need-to-know basis with civilian drivers. Their driving lessons often ended in, good job, and thanks, and a brief pause and divergence into separate, silent rooms. Later, Diane would knock and say, Josh, and Josh would or would not reply. Diane hurt. She was not consciously aware that she hurt, but she hurt. Josh, she said so many times a day, for so many different reasons. Josh loved his mother, but he did not know why. Diane loved her son, and she did not care why. Another way the house is unlike other houses is it has a faceless old woman secretly living in it, although this is not important to this story. That's weird, man. Alright, let's take a break. Alright, let's just take a break. Stretch for a bit, because I am tired and I'm getting old. Or something like that. Alright, let me stretch. I'm old. Alright, let's get back to it, because, I didn't realize that even shut off. Why didn't you guys tell me? Even though you guys can't see it, I'm blaming it on you. Wait, what? So far, how's your day going, my lads? Hopefully pretty litty. Alright. Let's get back to it. Alright. It went back like 20 pages. Alright, chapter 3. King City, said the paper. Jackie had never felt fear in her entire life. She had felt caution and unease and sadness and joy, which are all similar to fear, but she had never felt fear itself. She did not feel it then. She got to the work of closing, wiping down the bathroom sink, sweeping the floor, and adjusting the thick burlap covering up items that were forbidden or secret, like the time machine that Larry Leroy had stolen from the Museum of Forbidden Technologies, and the pens and pencils, written utensils having long been outlawed in Nightville for reasons of public well-being, although everyone still surreptitiously use them. Sorry, I was trying to figure out that word. The paper was still in her hand. She hadn't realized it, had been going about everything without realizing it. But there it was, still there, dull pencil, smudged. Hurried handwriting. She put it down on the cracked glass of the countertop. Now it was time to feed those items that were alive. Some of the items were alive. Some of them were dogs, and some weren't. Guys, it's 3 a.m. Sorry. There were lights now in the desert, low bubbles of light coming and going. She had never seen them before. She ignored them as she ignored all things that were not part of her small circle of her days. The small circle of her days. There were always things she had never seen before in Nightville. There was a man she passed in the desert using a pair of scissors at the top of a cactus as if he were cutting its hair. That's nice. There was a cactus that had a full head of hair. There was the day where the small crack that's always visible in the sky suddenly opened up and several pterodactyls flew out. Later it was revealed that they were just pteranodons and all the panic was for nothing. She finished her check of the inventory. The paper was in her hand. King City, said the paper. How did it get there? You'll find out later. How did this get here? She asked. The dogs did not respond, nor did anything less sentient. She put the paper in a drawer in the back room, in the desk she did not use for the work she did not have. Facts. There was nothing more to be done to close the shop. If she were honest, and she tried to be, she had been looking for excuses not to leave. If she were honest, and she tried to be, the flood had been clean enough to begin with. A glance out the window. The low bubbles of light in the desert were gone. Nothing there but a distant airplane crawling across the sky, red blinking lights vulnerable in the vast, empty, faint red beacons flashing the message, hello? A small island of life up here very close to space. Pray for us. Pray for us. 42 G. Williker Whiz. Alright. What was it? The paper was in her hand. Monster Energy. King City, it said. Jackie felt fear for the first time, and she did not know what it was. For the first time in a long time, she wished she had a friend to call. She had friends in high school, she knew that, although the memory of high school was distant and vague. The rest of her friends hadn't stopped at 19. They had gotten older, living full lives. They had tried to stay in touch, but it was difficult as they moved on to adult careers and kids, and retired, and retirement, and Jackie just kept being 19 years old. So, still 19, Noelle Cannoli had said when they spoke on the phone for the final time. Her disapproval was clear in her voice. Oh, Jackie, did you ever think of just turning 20? They had been friends since sophomore Spanish class, but Noelle had been 50 yet at the point she had finally asked Jackie the question, and spoke in tones that felt sickeningly parental to Jackie. Makes sense. Jackie had said so, and Noelle had become openly condescending, and they had both hung up, and she and Noelle had never spoken again. People who grow older think they're so wise, she thought, like time means anything at all. The radio came on by itself as she stood there, paper in hand. It always did at this time of night. Cecil Palmer, the host of Nightville Community Radio. Cecil Palmer, the host of Nightville Community Radio, spoke to her. News, the community calendar, traffic. She listened to what she listened when she would. God, dude. Sorry about that. She listened when she could to Cecil. Most of the town did. At home, Jackie had a small radio only about 2 feet wide, a foot and a half tall. It was the lightweight portable edition, under 14 pounds, with a mother-of-pearl handle and sharply angled open-beaked eagles carved into the upper corners. Her mother had gotten it for her whenever her 16th birthday was, however long ago that had been, and it was one of Jackie's favorite possessions, along with her record collection, which she had never listened to because she didn't have a license to own a record player yet. Right, because she's not old. She's only 19, right? Or 16. Or 19, whatever. Do you ever dare to cross off No, I don't. Okay. Alright. Cecil Palmer spoke of the horrors of everyday life. Nearly every broadcast told a story of impending doom or death. Worse. What? Did it say or worse? Or worse, a long life lived in fruitless fear of doom or death. It wasn't that Jackie wanted to know all of the bad news of the world, it was that she loved sitting in the dark of her bedroom, swallowed in blankets and invisible radio waves. I actually felt radio waves once. It was really weird. One night, I was, just as it said, like, swaddled in blankets. I had, like, 20 blankets on. This was in New Hampshire, where I used to live. It was friggin' cold, dude. Even though we had the heat on, it was so cold. It was about winter time. And, alert radio was going off for, like, a snowstorm warning. And, sorry, I'm blacking out here. And, I felt the radio waves. It was really weird, if you know what I'm talking about. Look, life is stressful. This is true everywhere. But life in Night Vale is more stressful. There are things lurking in the shadows, not the projections of a worried mind, but literal things lurking literally in the shadows. Conspiracies are hidden in every storefront, under every street, and floating in helicopters above. And with all that, there's still the bland tragedy of life. Births, deaths, comings, goings, the gulf of subjectivity, and bravado between us and everyone we care about. All this sorrow, as a man once said, without really doing much about it. But when Cecil talked, it was possible to let some of that go. You ever feel like that? When some certain person talks, you just, like, the rest of life just goes away and you just want to listen to that specific person. To let go of all of the worries, to let go of all of the questions. I messed up that. There's not all of, it's just of the. To let go of letting or going. The slip of paper, however, Jackie could not let go of. She opened her hand and watched it flutter to the floor. She stared at it. It was on the floor. ... The blank back of the paper said, not literally, but in a comic book speech bubble. She stared and sat and sat, and then she blinked in her eyes, and it was back in her hand. King City, it said. This is getting me nowhere, she said, to no one, or to the dogs, or to the thing that lurked in her corner. She tried calling Cecil at the station to see if she had heard anything about a man in a tan jacket holding a deerskin suitcase. She couldn't remember Cecil ever mentioning a person by that description on his show, but it was worth a shot. 33 minutes in. Sorry, I keep blacking out, dude, or like fading from my train of thought. One of the station interns picked up, promising to take a message, but who knew if the poor kid would even survive long enough to deliver it. That's okay, Jackie said. Hey, listen, if I think the Arby's is hiring. Have you considered that? Their death rate is really low for that area. But the kid was already hanging up. Oh well. Not Jackie's job to worry about the life of someone foolhardy enough to be a community radio intern. The shop was well and truly closed. At this point, if she waited any longer, she might as well lay out a sleeping bag and spend the night. Which, nope. So she stepped out into the parking lot, jumpy for sure. There was a black sedan with tinted windows at the end of the lot. The windows cracked down enough for her to see. Sorry, I inhaled dust. Two sunglassed agents of a vague yet menacing government agency watching her intently. One of them had a camera that kept going off, but the agent didn't seem to know how to deactivate the flash. The light against the tinted window made the shots worthless, and the agent cursed and tried again, and it flashed again. Jackie waved goodnight to them as she always did. Oh, we only have like a page left. Maybe she would take the Mercedes home, drive with the roof down, see how fast she could make it before the sheriff's secret police stopped her. But she wouldn't, of course. She walked to her car, a blue Mazda coupe with double red stripes that had been washed, presumably, at some point before she owned it. Uh-oh, not good. What's happening? They're not dying. We're all good? My balloon's TD6 doesn't look like it's doing very well, and I'm dead. Alright. Round 118, we can stop that. King City, she said, the paper in her hand agreed. It had been a mistake to accept what the man in the tan jacket had offered her. She didn't know what it was, or what it meant, or what information it was trying to convey and told, and to whom. But she knew that it had changed something. The world had was slipping into her life, and she had to push it out, starting with the slip of paper and the man in the tan jacket. She announced her intentions, as all Nightvale citizens must. I will find the man in the tan jacket, and I will make him take this piece of paper back, she announced. If I could do that without having to learn anything about him or what the paper means, that would be just ideal. The agent in the car, holding index fingers to earpieces, dutifully wrote this down. Out in the desert, bubbles of light low to the ground. The echo of a crowd arguing and then cheering. For a moment, a tall building, all glass and angles and business, where there had definitely been nothing but sand, and then it was gone, and then there were more lights shifting, warping the air around them. And the echo of the crowds and the lights. She put the car in reverse and pulled onto the highway, tossing the slip of paper out the window and watching with satisfaction as it fluttered into the night behind her, and then, snapping her fingers, caught the paper between them, where it had always been. That's the end of that chapter. We'll do one more, which is the voice of Nightvale, which is Cecil, the radio station. Hello, listeners. Cecil here, your voice from the darkness. The quiet whisperer in your empty night, speaking to you now from a booth at Nightvale Community Radio Station. Here to bring you all the news and community goings on that you need to know and hide from you all forbidden and dangerous knowledge. Hide from you all forbidden and dangerous. I can't read. Here to bring you all the news and community goings on that you need to know and hide from you all forbidden and dangerous knowledge. Now, the news. There are lights above our town, Nightvale. I'm not talking here about the stars. No one knows what the stars are or what they intend, but they have remained in mostly the same order and have indicated no harm for as long as anyone can remember here can remember. Astronomers keep trying to explain that stars are distant suns and distant galaxies, but of course, you have to take everything astronomers say with a grain of salt. But these new lights are not stars. They are low bubbles of light coming and going overhead. They are not the same lights that sometimes hover hundreds of feet above the RVs. Those lights are different. We understand those lights. The new lights, however, are concerning. Witnesses reported the lights changed colors and when commented on. Some people would say things like, "Oh, look at those orange lights," and then point. But suddenly the lights would be yellow, and those people's friends would then respond, "No, it's definitely yellow," and then they would go back to being orange, and so on. How many pages is this? A few. We're almost done here, people. That was one such witness account given by Chris Brady and Stuart Robertson in Old Town Nightvale. Chris added, "What do you think? They're orange, right?" The lights turned yellow again, and Stuart concluded with, Why is it so important for you to always be right, Christopher?" Before storming off, followed by a very apologetic Chris. So far, the lights seem harmless, unless you're directly under them, in which case they are the opposite of harmless, whatever that means to you. Last night, at a press conference, the city council reminded everyone that the dog park is there for our community enjoyment and use, and so it is important that no one enter, look at, or think about the dog park. They're adding a new advanced camera system to keep an eye on the great black walls of the dog park at all times, and if anyone is caught trying to enter it, they'll be forced to enter it, and they will never be heard from again. Kinda sus. I mean, weird. If you see hooded figures in the dog park, no you didn't. The hooded figures are perfectly safe and should not be approached at any cost. The city council ended the conference by devouring a raw potato in quick small bites of their sharp teeth and rough tongues. No follow-up questions were asked, although there were a few follow-up screams. Again, sus. I mean, weird. We've also received word via encrypted radio pulses about the opening of the... Oh, thank God, I thought my mic was off, and I would have had to redo this entire thing. I would have cried. Okay. We have also received word via encrypted radio pulses about the opening of a new store, Lenny's Bargain House of Garden Wares and Machine Parts, which until recently was that abandoned warehouse the government was using for the highly classified and completely secret test I was telling you about last week. Lenny's will serve as a helpful new source for all needs involving landscaping and lawn decorating materials, and also as a way for the government to unload all the machines and failed tests and dangerous substances that otherwise would be wasted on things like safe disposal, or burying a concrete tomb until the sun goes out. Go out to Lenny's for the big grand opening sale, find 8 government secrets, and get a free kidnapping and personality reassignment so that you won't forget you found them. I messed that line up so bad, so it probably doesn't sound as funny. Get out to Lenny's for the big grand opening sale. Find 8 government secrets and get a free kidnapping and personality reassignment so that you forget you found them. And now it's time for the Children's Fun Fact Science Corner. Here's what we know about the sentience, or about sentience. Sand is sentient, the desert is sentient, the sky is not sentient. Planes are intermittently sentient. Dogs are the most sentient. We are not sentient. The planet as a whole is sentient. The planet as a whole is sentient. The parts that make up the whole, that whole are not sentient. Holes are sentient. We are not sentient. Gift cards are sentient until they expire. States in which it is illegal for gift cards to expire have created immortal sentience. Money is not sentient. The concept. This is a lot of sentience. The concept of private property is sentient. Sand is sentient. The desert is sentient. We are not sentient. This has been the Children's Fun Fact Science Corner. Is your identity safe, listeners? With so much information being stored in databases these days, it is uncertain how we feel secure that our identities are our own. There are scams galore to try to steal your credit card numbers, social security numbers, citizen personal numbers, neighborhood resident tracking numbers, and so on. Not a week goes by where we don't hear of some database being cracked open like a fresh egg on a granite countertop and personal information spilling everywhere for identity thieves to just lap up like a dog who's allowed to be on a kitchen counter and who likes raw eggs. Here are some tips for protecting your identity, Nightvale. Change your computer passwords often. Most of us are not legally allowed to use a computer, but change them anyway, just in case you suddenly... my nose. Suddenly are allowed to use one someday. Also, wear a mask when in public and black out your house number with spray paint. Finally, most identity thefts occur when databases are not securely managed. So my advice? Don't ever end up in a database. This has been Tech News. Coming up after this break, some exclusive clips from my recent 3-hour interview with myself, in which I interrogated myself on my motivations, where I am in life, why I'm not in a different place in life, whose fault that is, and why I said that one embarrassing thing once. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you enjoyed, always come back for the next podcast episode. I'll see you then, my fresh lads. Things are falling, which I have to take care of. So, thank you. And, goodbye. Goodbye indeed.